Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Welcome to Discover Islam channel. Before we start, remember to like the video, subscribe, and activate the bell so you don't miss a thing. Share this video with your loved ones, as this knowledge can literally change a life. Did you know that the Quran tells a story about angels who actually taught humans magic? But this was a story of encouragement. It was a test, a warning, and a lesson in the dangers of misusing knowledge. Harut and Marut, two angels sent by Allah, descended to Earth centuries ago with a very specific mission. They taught the secrets of Sihr, or magic, but only after warning people that practicing it would bring severe consequences. Many people have misunderstood this story, thinking these angels were evil or that magic was being promoted, but nothing could be further from the truth. In reality, this story is one of the most profound lessons in the Quran about free will, temptation, and the responsibility that comes with knowledge. Today, we'll uncover the true story of Harut and Marut, explore the context of Sihr, and reveal lessons that are as relevant now as they were over 1,000 years ago. Prepare to be shocked, enlightened, and inspired by a tale that has been misrepresented for centuries. The story of Harut and Marut begins in a time long ago, in the ancient city of Babylon, a place famous for its scholars, mysteries, and powerful rulers. According to Quran, these two angels were sent by Allah not as ordinary visitors, but as a divine test for humankind. Their mission was unique and profound, to teach people about the knowledge of magic or Sihr, but only as a warning, not as an encouragement. This story is mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 102, where Allah says, "And they followed what the devils had recited during the reign of Solomon. It was not Solomon who disbelieved, but the devils disbelieved, teaching people magic and that which was revealed to the two angels at Babylon, Harut and Marut. But the two angels did not teach anyone without saying, 'We are only a test, so do not disbelieve.'" Harut and Marut were fully obedient angels, carrying out Allah's command with precision and wisdom. Their role was not to lead people astray, but to serve as a clear test. Would humans resist the temptation of forbidden knowledge, or would they fall into sin despite repeated warnings? Teaching magic was a trial, a way to expose the choices and intentions of human hearts. Those who approached the knowledge with humility and caution could see the consequences and learn valuable lessons, while those who sought it for worldly gain or evil purposes faced grave consequences. Understanding this context is crucial. Many have misunderstood the story, claiming that angels themselves were sinful or that Allah condoned magic. In reality, the Quran emphasizes the angels' obedience, their warning and responsibility placed on humans. This tale is a mirror reflecting human nature, free will, and the importance of discerning right from wrong. It reminds us that not all knowledge is beneficial without ethics and awareness. Even knowledge meant to guide can become a source of harm. As we continue, we will delve deeper into the nature of Sihr, the warnings of Harut and Marut, and the timeless lessons this story offers to every believer. It's a story of temptation, responsibility, and divine wisdom, a story that remains as relevant today as it was in ancient Babylon. Context on Sihr magic in Islam. Before we fully dive into the story of Harut and Marut, it is important to understand what Sihr or magic is in Islam and why it holds such a significant place in the Quranic teachings. Sihr is a type of knowledge or practice that allows someone to manipulate the unseen world, often to influence, harm, or control others. While humans may be fascinated by the idea of magic, Islam clearly warns that it is a forbidden practice because it corrupts the heart, damages relationships, and leads people away from the guidance of Allah. The Quran mentions Sihr multiple times, emphasizing its destructive nature and its association with disbelief when used against the will of Allah. Practicing Sihr is considered a serious sin, as it involves turning to forces outside of Allah's command, often invoking false powers, devils, or hidden knowledge that humans are not meant to wield. In Surah Al-Baqarah 2:102, Allah tells us that the angels Harut and Marut warn people, "We are only a test, so do not disbelieve." This reinforces the idea that Sihr itself is a test, and using it for harm leads to spiritual and worldly consequences. It is crucial to understand that magic in the context of Harut and Marut is not inherently evil. The angels themselves were pure and obedient, and they taught magic only as a test. The key distinction lies in intention and use. Knowledge in itself is neutral, but the human heart determines whether it is a blessing or a curse. Those who approach forbidden knowledge with arrogance, greed, or malice are the ones who fall into sin and suffer its consequences. Those who resist the temptation or learn the lesson from the warning gain insight, wisdom, and a deeper understanding of human responsibility. The dangers of Sihr are not just spiritual, but can be deeply personal and social. Magic practice with evil intent can break families, create enmity, cause deception, and lead to severe regret in this life and the hereafter. Even attempting to practice it opens a door to influences and forces that are beyond human control, which is why the Quran repeatedly warns believers to avoid it entirely. By understanding Sihr in its proper context, we gain a stronger appreciation for the story of Harut and Marut. Their mission was not to teach people to sin, but to test their hearts and make them aware of the serious consequences of disobedience. This knowledge sets the stage for the next part of the story: how humans reacted to the temptation and what lessons can be drawn from their choices. It reminds us that knowledge comes with responsibility, and not all knowledge is meant to be used without wisdom, humility, and obedience to Allah. The test of Harut and Marut. The story of Harut and Marut reaches its most compelling point when we see the angels carrying out their divine mission in the city of Babylon. Allah sent these two angels with a very clear purpose: to test the hearts of humankind. They were not sent to lead people astray, but to teach a lesson about responsibility, temptation, and the dangers of forbidden knowledge. Harut and Marut were fully aware of their task and approached it with obedience, precision, and caution, fully understanding the human weaknesses they were about to encounter. Upon arriving in Babylon, Harut and Marut began to teach the secrets of Sihr, but always with a solemn warning. They told the people, "We are only a test. Do not disbelieve." This warning was crucial. It separated those who would use the knowledge with humility from those who would abuse it. The angels provided a clear choice. The knowledge was available, but misuse would bring severe consequences in both this life and the hereafter. As expected, many people were tempted. Some were curious, wanted to try spells or manipulate others, while others sought magic to gain wealth, power, or control over loved ones. The angels' warnings echoed in their ears, but desire clouded judgment. Families were divided, friendships ruined, and hearts corrupted as humans tested the limits of this forbidden knowledge. Some became aware of the dangers only after experiencing harm themselves, while others were blinded by ambition and greed, falling deeper into sin. The narrative of Harut and Marut is not just about magic. It is about choice. Allah gave humans free will, and the story demonstrates how easy it is to be lured by forbidden temptations. Even when the right path is illuminated by divine guidance, some still choose darkness. The angel's role was like a mirror reflecting human intentions. Those who resisted temptation learned patience, restraint, and reverence for Allah's commands. Those who succumbed were reminded of the gravity of sin and the consequences that await those who disobey divine guidance. What makes this story even more striking is the level of detail given in Islamic tradition about the methods of temptation. Some humans sought knowledge to enchant, manipulate, or dominate others. Others, realizing the gravity of the act, turned away and sought forgiveness. The story vividly portrays human psychology. Curiosity mixed with desire can lead to peril if not tempered with morality. The tale of Harut and Marut is a timeless lesson for believers. It demonstrates that tests from Allah may come in various forms: knowledge, power, or opportunity. But the critical factor is intention. Knowledge, even divine knowledge, becomes dangerous when misused. Harut and Marut were instruments of divine wisdom, guiding humans to see their own hearts and revealing that temptation is not external. It comes from within. As we continue, we will explore the lessons that can be drawn from this story, examining how believers today can apply these teachings to avoid the traps of temptation and live a life guided by faith, wisdom, and caution. Lessons from the story. The story of Harut and Marut is not just an ancient tale. It carries profound lessons that are deeply relevant to our lives today. One of the most important lessons is about temptation and free will. Just as the people of Babylon were tempted by the knowledge of magic, we too face daily temptations, sometimes subtle, sometimes overt. Whether it's a desire for power, fame, wealth, or control over others, the human heart is constantly tested. Harut and Marut's story reminds us that temptation is not always external. It often comes from within. Our choices define our spiritual trajectory, and resisting temptation requires awareness, self-control, and reliance on Allah. Another significant lesson is about knowledge and responsibility. Knowledge in itself is neutral. It is a tool. But when humans are given knowledge, they are also given responsibility. Harut and Marut taught magic as a test, not as a permission to sin. Today, we are entrusted with knowledge in countless forms: technology, education, information, and skills. Using these responsibly, ethically, and for the benefit of others is a reflection of our obedience to Allah. Misusing knowledge, even unintentionally, can lead to harm, just as the misuse of magic in Babylon caused destruction and suffering. The story also emphasizes the consequences of sin and forbidden acts. Those who ignore the angels' warnings and practice magic for selfish or harmful purposes faced severe consequences, both spiritually and socially. In modern life, actions have consequences as well, often multiply in ways we cannot foresee. When we act against Allah's guidance, whether through unethical decisions, dishonesty, or harmful behaviors, we risk damaging our relationships, our reputation, and most importantly, our connection with Allah. Harut and Marut remind us that warnings exist not to restrict us, but to guide us towards safety and righteousness. Finally, the story encourages reflection and moral consciousness. It teaches that life is full of tests, and our responses to these tests shape our character and our destiny. We are reminded that divine guidance is always available, but it requires intention, humility, and submission. Choosing patience over haste, wisdom over ignorance, and obedience over desire ensures that we remain on the straight path. In essence, the story of Harut and Marut is timeless because it transcends the literal teaching of magic. It is a mirror of the human condition, a reminder that free will, responsibility, and moral choices are central to our spiritual journey. By internalizing these lessons, we can navigate modern challenges with faith, discernment, and integrity, avoiding the traps of temptation and embracing a life pleasing to Allah. Common misunderstandings and clarifications. The story of Harut and Marut is often misunderstood, and many myths have grown around it over the centuries. One of the most common misconceptions is that these angels were evil or rebellious. This is completely false. Harut and Marut were obedient servants of Allah, fully aware of their mission, and their role was to test humans, not to promote wrongdoing. Their very warning, "We are only a test, do not disbelieve," emphasizes their obedience and the divine purpose behind their teaching. Another frequent misunderstanding is that the story encourages the practice of magic. In reality, the Quran clearly frames magic as a forbidden act. Harut and Marut taught it only as a trial, to show humans the consequences of sin and disobedience. The knowledge itself was neutral. It was the misuse by humans that was sinful. The story is meant to educate, not to instruct people to engage in forbidden practices. Over time, some myths have added layers to the story that are not supported by authentic Islamic sources. For example, exaggerated tales claim the angels themselves were punished for evil deeds or that they secretly promoted magic. These interpretations are false and misrepresent the Quranic narrative. Islamic scholars, including Ibn Kathir and Al-Qurtubi, clarify that the angels were obedient. Their teaching was a divine test, and all warnings in the Quran reflect Allah's wisdom and justice. By understanding these clarifications, we can separate fact from fiction and appreciate the story for what it truly is, a lesson in free will, responsibility, and obedience. Recognizing the myths prevents confusion and strengthens our trust in the Quranic account. The story is not about angels doing wrong. It is about humans being tested and given a choice that every believer continues to face in life today. Historical and scholarly views. The story of Harut and Marut has been extensively studied by classical Islamic scholars, providing rich insights into its meaning and purpose. Tafsir Ibn Kathir, one of the most respected Quranic exegeses, explains that Harut and Marut were angels sent as a test for humans in Babylon. Ibn Kathir emphasizes that they never acted against Allah's commands and that their teaching of magic came with repeated warnings. "We are only a test. Do not disbelieve." According to Ibn Kathir, the angels' role was to reveal human weaknesses and demonstrate that sin results from choice, not divine influence. Al-Qurtubi, another prominent scholar, similarly clarifies that the angels were pure and obedient. He highlights that the story of Harut and Marut teaches a universal lesson: knowledge and power, if misused, lead to corruption. Al-Qurtubi points out that the Quran makes it clear that practicing magic is a grave sin, and the angels were not responsible for misuse by humans. They were merely instruments of divine testing. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:102 explains that some people follow what the devils had taught during Solomon's reign, while others learn from Harut and Marut after repeated warnings. Classical scholars agree that the verse distinguishes between the source of corruption, the devils and human misuse, and the test provided by the angels, highlighting Allah's justice and wisdom. These interpretations demonstrate the depth of Islamic scholarship on this story. By studying the views of scholars like Ibn Kathir and Al-Qurtubi, we gain clarity and confidence in understanding the narrative as a moral and spiritual lesson rather than a tale of angelic wrongdoing. The story of Harut and Marut is thus a profound example of how Quranic stories combine divine guidance, human responsibility, and ethical reflection, providing timeless lessons for every believer. Contemporary relevance. The story of Harut and Marut is not just an ancient tale. It holds important lessons for believers living in today's world. In the modern age, we face temptations that, while different in form, are very similar in essence to the trials of Babylon. The digital age has made knowledge and information easily accessible, but with it comes the risk of misuse. Just as humans centuries ago were tempted to use magic for selfish or harmful purposes, today people can misuse technology, social media, or online resources to deceive, manipulate, or harm others. Harut and Marut's story reminds us that knowledge itself is neutral, but it can become dangerous if applied without ethics, responsibility, and mindfulness of Allah. For young Muslims, this story offers spiritual guidance and moral clarity. It teaches that every opportunity comes with choices, and resisting temptation requires awareness, discipline, and reliance on divine guidance. Social pressures, curiosity, and desire for shortcuts can easily lead one astray, but reflecting on the lessons of Harut and Marut can help believers make ethical decisions and strengthen their connection with Allah. The story also emphasizes the importance of intention. In today's world, many might learn skills or knowledge for personal gain or recognition, but without pure intentions and a conscious effort to benefit others, such knowledge can become a test of character rather than a tool for good. By remembering the warnings of Harut and Marut, believers are reminded to approach knowledge, power, and influence with humility and responsibility. Ultimately, this ancient story is profoundly relevant today because it highlights universal truths. Temptation is constant, knowledge carries responsibility, and moral choices shape our destiny. By internalizing these lessons, young Muslims can navigate the challenges of the modern world with faith, wisdom, and integrity, avoiding the pitfalls of greed, arrogance, and ethical compromise. The story of Harut and Marut is a timeless reminder of the delicate balance between knowledge, responsibility, and free will. These two angels were sent by Allah to Babylon as a divine test, teaching the secrets of Sihr, but always with stern warning. We are only a test. Do not disbelieve. Their mission was never to promote sin, but to reveal human choices and the consequences that follow when temptation is misused. Sihr, or magic, represents more than just supernatural practice. It symbolizes forbidden knowledge, misused power, and the dangers of acting against Allah's guidance. The story clearly illustrates that knowledge, even when given with divine purpose, becomes dangerous if it is applied without ethics, humility, and moral consideration. Human hearts are tested daily, and choices matter more than opportunities alone. From this story, we learn that resisting temptation, using knowledge responsibly, and seeking Allah's guidance are essential for spiritual growth. Harut and Marut's warning reminds us to reflect on our intentions, avoid sin, and act with integrity in every aspect of life. Their story is a mirror for believers today. Ethical knowledge, conscious decisions, and obedience to Allah lead to success, while misuse and greed lead to harm. As we internalize these lessons, we are encouraged to pause, reflect, and commit to making choices that please Allah. Let the story of Harut and Marut inspire mindfulness, caution, and responsibility in all actions, reminding us that divine tests are not punishments, but opportunities to strengthen faith and character. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the story of Harut and Marut. If you found this video enlightening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help spread these important lessons to others. By sharing, You help remind your friends and family about the importance of knowledge, responsibility, and obedience to Allah. As we conclude, let us reflect on the wisdom behind this story. Every day, we are faced with choices that test our character, just as the people of Babylon were tested centuries ago. Harut and Marut's story reminds us that knowledge is a trust, power is a responsibility, and intentions shape our destiny. Let it inspire us to act with integrity, avoid forbidden practices, and strive to please Allah in everything we do. Let us end with a heartfelt dua. O Allah, protect us from forbidden knowledge, guide us to what is good, strengthen our hearts against temptation, and lead us on the straight path. Grant us wisdom, sincerity, and obedience, and help us use the knowledge you bless us with for your pleasure alone. Ameen. May this story serve as a reminder that divine tests are opportunities to grow in faith, make righteous choices, and become closer to Allah. Keep these lessons in your heart, apply them in your life, and always seek guidance from Allah in every decision. If you like this video and want to learn more about good ways to communicate with respect and kindness, then like this video to support the message. Subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Share this video with your loved ones so that together we can spread more kindness. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Tell me in comments what question has ever made you uncomfortable and how you'd like people to communicate with you. See you soon for a new video.